G'day, it's Ryan the Lion from A Few Quiet Yarns, and I'm standing here with Christina Yu from the Chinese Herald, and of course we're about to get into a yarn with Christina. And first of all, if I could invite you to introduce yourself, Christina, and of course let us meet the person, not the suit, and we'll talk about business later.
Thank you. It's great to meet Ryan the Lion. 狮子莱恩，用我们中国话来说。I'm Christina. Christina Yu is actually Christina Me. I came here in 1995 as an immigrant from China mainland, and been here for 25 years. I have a family of three. My daughter, 17-year-old, she's a St. Kentigern College student, and my partner Elle works in the transport industry as an IT professional.
That's fantastic. So 1995, now that was the year that the All Blacks lost to South Africa in the World Cup. As I always like to joke with people who have come from another country and are now Kiwis, you've been here long enough, next thing you'll be coaching the All Blacks. So that's fantastic.
Coaching All Blacks,
yeah.
That's a big job.
Yeah, 24 years as a Kiwi. What's your favourite part of New Zealand?
Probably Auckland.
Yeah.
I've been everywhere, but at the end of the day, I stay in Auckland. That says the thing. Auckland is the heart of New Zealand.
It is.
Yeah.
And I guess by population and activity that's happening here, and it makes sense. You know, I'm originally from Dunedin. My wife's originally from Dunedin, but grew up in Auckland. So I've always struggled to convince her to move back down south to Dunedin or Queenstown. So the heart of New Zealand's a good description. So shall we get on to question two, which used to be is what's keeping you busy? But what I'd like to introduce now is what impact are you making? And I think that's a beautiful addition to the question in what you do with the Chinese Herald in terms of helping people like yourself who once are new to New Zealand to probably get a good understanding of New Zealand and what's happening not only in the Chinese community but the New Zealand country as a whole through the publication. Is that a good introduction for you?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm really honoured. What keeps me busy? Basically just my family and my work. My daughter is talented singer and songwriter. She's already published her records on Spotify and Apple Music.
Cool.
Yeah, so I spend a lot of my time taking her there and there for the performing arts.
Yeah.
And I also spend very quality time with my partner. For example, we stick to a 20K run at the weekends each week, rain or shine. So that's that's something bonded us together. We really enjoy time together. Yeah. And then for my work, I'm very passionate with what I'm doing at Chinese New Zealand Herald. It's a media, but it's quite special because it's a niche market. We are the cross-culture media between the Kiwi mainstream and the Chinese community. So we do a lot of things to advocate Chinese culture, but at the same time, we provide opportunities for Kiwi businesses and organizations to come connect with the Chinese community. Basically, my work visit is, of course, a lot of business strategies, and you can see us spending from a print media just in a few years' time through to social media, WeChat and Facebook, Twitter, and including LinkedIn, of course. And then we have done a lot in the social media that we ranked very high in global Chinese media. And then the milestone is we formed a joint venture with NZME. So we're doing wonderful things that are introducing a lot of insights of the Kiwi community into Chinese people. And they have never been updated like nowadays before. So I'm very proud with what we're doing.
That sounds fantastic, and it really makes me quite excited. One of the things I may not have mentioned is I've done a little bit of work around that space myself, called AFQY Kiwiana, which was more around helping new Kiwis get into tech roles by teaching them about New Zealand culture and the process, because there were some interesting challenges that were common amongst every new Kiwi. So yeah, the work that you're doing and what you mentioned there sounds amazing, and I have to mention WeChat. So with all of my Chinese Kiwi friends, I'm talking about LinkedIn, and the first thing they say is, "Are you on WeChat?" I've been fascinated at the recent Alibaba event to watch the video. Getting their dog grooming ordering their lunch, turn up to the restaurant and it's sitting at the table ready for them. It's the future that we all knew and could see happening, but nothing has quite pulled it together like WeChat has.
And that this all within one ecosystem. That is the beauty of WeChat. Comparing WeChat and a few other apps in China and social media with our New Zealand. The biggest thing is, for example, WeChat is you have everything built in within one ecosystem. You don't get out. Yeah. Well, in comparing with that, in the Kiwi ways, you have different. You have Facebook, Google, everything separate.
Yes.
When you combine the power, you can see what you can do.
That I've always asked for some form of interoperability. So if I set up an event on LinkedIn, I want to share it to Facebook and other platforms because there are different audiences on those. It gets annoying having to set up 3 events or 3 event pages for the same event. So the ease of it being in one platform, I think, would be amazing, and that I would say that is what has driven the extremely fast growth and use of it, because that's just a ultimate convenience. But one of you mentioned about we just now swap or connect on WeChat. We don't do the card exchange. That was one of the things I was going to ask you about in terms of traditional Chinese culture. But it seems as though we've already moved into the modern era on that. But it used to be that you would present your card with both hands and exchange it, and not just take the card and stick it in your pocket like a Kiwi would, but inspect it for a moment of time as a sign of respect. Is that correct? Is that how it would have been done?
I think depends on the situation. We still doing 2 hands to showing as respect or courtesy nowadays, but in a casual way, people probably leave this behind already.
Okay.
Yeah. Cross culture, a lot of interesting things that you can compare every now and then. Of course, for example, the difference between Chinese and the Kiwi one is, in Chinese, you call your mom's sister and you call your dad's sister in different names. Yeah.
Yes.
But in Kiwi way, they're all aunties.